This might be one of the weirdest bits of, I guess it's ironic? Leslie Jones slams new Ghostbusters as something Trump would do. Okay. Ghostbusters. I believe the sequel, Ghostbusters 2, was like 1991. Oh, no, I think it was 89. I think the first one was 86. Basically, the first movie came out around the time I was born, or like the year I was born, and then the sequel came out when I was a little kid, like a baby, and for the longest time, people have wanted a sequel. They've wanted a third, a triquel, I don't know. Anyway, what ends up happening is there's an announcement that they're working on a new Ghostbusters. Someone from the original cast, I think it may have been Dan Aykroyd, said something like, or no, someone commented it would be cool if it was an all-female Ghostbusters. One of the original cast members, I think it was Dan Aykroyd, said something like, that would be really cool. So apparently they decided to do it. I don't know if that's what precipitated it, but apparently the original plan was to have a Ghostbusters universe, and one of the reasons they decided to retcon the whole series was to create a new universe with an East Coast and West Coast Ghostbusters. The first movie, Ghostbusters 2016, had an all-female cast, and that doesn't matter. What matters is the movie was poorly written, made no sense, and was overall just a bad movie. It was a cringe fest. They ended up losing between $50 and $75 million on the project, depending on who you ask. A lot of fans were upset that they were retconning the series. It's a retroactive continuity change. A lot of people, yes, some people were upset they were doing a gender swap because they didn't think it mattered. Some people, yes, a small contingent of misogynists were angry because they didn't want women to be, they didn't want the team to be female. But that admittedly is a smaller group. Most people just want, they don't, like, I'll say this, most core fans of any intellectual property probably just want you to be honest with the source material. It doesn't matter if the character is white, black, brown, Latin, Asian, whatever, male or female. It just matters that you respect the original continuity. And because it was a retcon, people were upset. And because it was an awful movie, people were upset. Well, now we're getting a real Ghostbusters 3. They are going to erase 2016 Ghostbusters. Never happened. Why? Because it was a flop and everyone hated it. Now, what's really funny is the complete irony of some of the stars involved. Most notably, irony of the statements. Leslie Jones. Now, here's the thing. I pointed out it was actually a relatively small group of misogynists who were upset with an all-female cast. Well, that didn't stop the media from running through this narrative of the only reason people don't like the movie is because it's got women in it. They did the same thing with Battlefield 5. Gamers are upset they put ladies in World War II. No, they were mostly upset because you put cyborg women with katanas in World War II, and what is that, okay? It's different. Are there misogynists online? Yes, of course there are. There are a lot of them. Is it the majority of gamers or fans? No, of course, that's ridiculous. Most people can be snide or snarky. It's not unique to any one side or any ideology, but for the most part, people just want fun and fair content. Well, it was the actresses and the production teams who pushed this narrative saying people are just mad because we're gender swapping. Oh, because they're bigots. Well, then what does Leslie Jones say? She tweeted, "So insulting, like F us, we don't count. It's like something Trump would do. Trump voice, gonna redo Ghostbusters, better with men, will be huge, those women ain't Ghostbusters. Ugh, so annoying, such a dick move, and I don't give F, I'm saying something." She said, "It's very sad that this is the response I get, when the point is, if they make this new one with all men, and it does well, which it will, it might feel that boys are better. It makes my heart drop. Maybe I could have used different words, but I'm allowed to have my feelings just like them." You are absolutely allowed to have your feelings, Leslie Jones, for sure. I just think it's a bit ironic that you're complaining about how they're remaking Ghostbusters with an all-male cast, while criticizing in the past you've criticized people who are upset they're making a Ghostbusters with an all-female cast. Admittedly, I don't care if they have men or women Ghostbusters, and I would actually, you know what, how about this? How about you do Ghostbusters 3 and extend a casting position to Leslie Jones, to, I don't even remember who else was it. Kristen Wiig was in it, and I don't remember who else in it. But give them roles in the movie. Like, I think they're fine people, no problem. I don't think it has to do with male or female. I think one of the core issues is the intellectual property, the attempt at the retcon. It didn't work. They lost money. So they want to bring back, they're going to have Ivan Reitman, the original director from the movies, is going to produce, and his son is going to direct. This could be bad. It could be really bad. They could still potentially make a crappy movie. But here's what I want to point out what's really funny. Leslie Jones saying, when the point is, if they make this new one with all men, and it does well, which it will, well, it's really weird. Why do you think it will do well? Why do you think your movie did bad? It's almost like she's the one implying that the reason it was bad was because it was all female, right? As if, and I'll rephrase. She's saying, if they do a new one with all men, it will do better. Why? What's the guarantee it will do better? Director? The only thing you've brought up is the gender issue. So this is really funny. They say, though 2016's Ghostbusters raked in a reported $229 million at the worldwide box office, the movie received mixed reviews. The Guardian called the film a misfiring remake, while Variety said it suffers from a disappointingly strong case of deja vu. What they don't point out is that the initial budget, I believe, was about $140 million, and the marketing was ridiculous. They spent probably, I think, an estimated $150 or so million on marketing. Their ultimate loss, accounting for everyone, there's different sources, but they range from like $55 million to $75 million or more. Just those are the key numbers most people cite, which basically means the movie failed. The IP wasn't going to work, and there's no way in hell anyone's going to lose $70 million and then say, let's make more of these. So the Ghostbusters franchise is still very valuable. You still have a core fan base that really, really wants to see the original characters come back. And the original idea was going to be the old Ghostbusters hiring on a new team. Why didn't they do that? That's unfortunate. The characters played by like Leslie Jones and Kristen Wiig, and I can't remember who else was involved, they ruined that opportunity for them. Imagine if Ghostbusters 2016 did have Leslie Jones and Kristen Wiig and whoever else, but you did have Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray and oh god, I can't remember the actor's name. I can't remember the guy. I can't remember the other guy who played Igor. And I can't remember the name of the guy who played Winston. But imagine if you had the guy who played Harry Ramis. Harvey. I'm not good with the older actors. Apologies, because I know they're like legends. But anyway, imagine if you had at least Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, and they're the elders training a new bunch, and it was Leslie Jones and Kristen Wiig. It'd have been great. I have no problem. I think that's great. The problem is they can't recast Leslie Jones, Kristen Wiig, and whoever else in the same roles as the new Ghostbusters. That would be really, really weird when you're retconning the old one. It's kind of like, it didn't work, you gotta do something else. We don't even know what the Ghostbusters 3 movie is going to be. You know, and that's besides the point. But I will point out, I love how Huffington Post doesn't mention the movie lost a ton of money. They're trying to make it seem like, but the movie was so valuable, why would they do this? Reitman, who scored Academy Award nominations for 2007's Juno and 2009, Up in the Air, told Entertainment Weekly that his Ghostbusters would be the next chapter in the original franchise introduced by his father 35 years ago. What happened in the 80s happened in the 80s, and this is set in the present day, he said in an interview published Tuesday. As to the decision to ignore 2016's Ghostbusters, he said, I have so much respect for what Paul created with those brilliant actresses, and would love to see more stories from them. However, this movie will follow the trajectory of the original film. Well, Paul Feig, he has come out and made a statement. Ghostbusters 2016 director Paul Feig responds to the new Ghostbusters sequel. It's fascinating. He said, so he's responding to Andrew Todd, which we'll pull up his tweets in a second. He said, an absolute honest-to-God, never-ending supply of BS and hate from these trolls. Leslie spoke her truth and I support her. I am very open to Jason's new version of Ghostbusters, but I'm also sad that our 2016 team may not get to bust again. We all are. We are forever proud of our movie. So we know the other details, but let's see what Mr. Andrew Todd had to say. This is a Kiwi writer, director of film, theater, games, and criticism from Mad Fox Film. He said, Leslie Jones tells the truth. Boy, I would have thought the Ghost Bros got all their hate out of their system 3 years ago, but nope. Comments suggest there's more BS where that came from. I wonder how all the Ghost Bros rejoicing that they're getting a real sequel will feel when they realize the main characters are all children. What? What does that mean? And that half of them are, perish the thought, girl children with cooties and everything. Literally, what is he talking about? The main characters are all children? What is he is maybe there's something I don't know about the movie? Are they turning the cast into kids? Did a ghost put a spell on them to turn them into babies? Honestly, I have no idea what he's talking about. The main characters are all children? Is he making reference to the immaturity of the Ghost Bros? I think it's rather funny how angry they are that literally the same thing they complained about before is the people are complaining about. Like, basically, the same thing that other fans were complaining about, they are now complaining about in the exact same way. So, Ernie Hudson, God, that was his name. And what's the... Harold Ramis. Wait, maybe I'm wrong. Harold Ramis? Original stars Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson hinted that they may be involved in the film, and a teaser trailer swiftly accompanied the news of the latest sequel. However, the announcement of the movie known currently as Ghostbusters 3 irked Leslie Jones. Yeah, okay, look, I'm one of those people who wanted to see a real sequel, but also didn't mind them making an all-female reboot. Don't care. No problem. Unfortunately, the movie was bad. So that sucks. I have no problem if they put those cast members in the next movie. I would just like to see a good movie. And apparently I got my dates wrong. It was 84 and 89. It wasn't 86. So the first Ghostbusters was before I was born. Second one when I was like 2 or 3 years old. And Jason Reitman, that's his name. So his dad, whatever. The point is, it's really funny how the same thing happens to them and they're angry about it. Now do you see why other people were angry? How about everybody just not be angry? And if a product doesn't work and doesn't make money, you gotta acknowledge you gotta make something different, okay? Your movie didn't sell, okay? People went to see it, but they spent too much money and didn't make enough back. It was a failed attempt. The Ghostbusters name is still valuable, and if they do a real sequel with Ernie Hudson and Dan Aykroyd, it will probably make way more money. That's the other thing, too. Reboots make a lot of money. I mean, it's probable that the Ghostbusters 3 movie will be a $1 billion movie. They really thought rebooting it would be. But I'll tell you what, if they did a Star Wars reboot with different characters, you're probably not going to get a lot of fans to want to go see a reboot, right? The thing that Star Trek did, they didn't reboot it, they did a time trip retcon, so they created an alternate universe so they could still put Spock in it, and it was like, but they made money. They made money. So it's possible to do. Anyway, ironic. More videos to come, and I think the next videos are going to be like, probably about the MAGA thing, whatever. Stick around, they'll be on my channel, I'll see you in a minute.